Doctors of Reddit, what's the most obvious lie a patient has told you? During COVID, we did a lot of telemedicine. People were used to just living their life on video anyway, and it was pretty surreal. I'd have to ask people perhaps not to be getting dressed in their walk-in closet while we were trying to do a visit. Things like that. My favorite was asking someone how much he's currently drinking, and he told me that he stopped drinking a long time ago. He was in his bedroom, sitting on his bed, surrounded by bottles of beer and liquor. Some half empty, most empty, some glasses with leftover beer and whatnot. So I asked him how to explain that late on a Saturday night bar tableau, and he said, oh well, that was just one time because it was just my birthday. I had to explain that I'm looking at his chart and his birthday was like 10 months ago. I had a patient tell me he hadn't done meth in a long time. I asked him how long is a long time. He said, you mean more than 2 bumps? Quote, sir, I mean more than 0 bumps. So anyways, it was earlier that day. A lot of people are saying drugs or alcohol, but I've found patients to be mostly pretty straightforward about them. Possibly just my patient population. With one exception, though. Meth. It's bizarre. I, at least weekly, have this exact conversation. Do you use any meth? No. Okay. When was the last time you used meth? About 2 days ago. So strange. I'm convinced it's some neurologic cognitive sequela of meth rather than volitional. Just because of how frequently and stereotypically it happens. And how readily they offer it up after I ask it in a different way. Do you smoke? Quote, no. I quit. Congratulations, that's great. How long ago did you quit? Quote, this morning. As a vet. More of a client lie than a patient. He's friendly and doesn't bite. As the dog was literally biting into and latched onto my assistant's hand. He had thick handling gloves on, thankfully. I stared at the owner in disbelief, and he doubled down and said even more firmly, he doesn't bite. Unfortunately, this is not an uncommon issue. My assistant is a certified dog trainer, so he knows how to handle aggressive dogs. But it's still attacked, unprovoked. This client came to us because multiple previous clinics were unable to handle his dog due to extreme aggression. Oh, it's always the classic lie about not smoking when the smell of cigarettes is practically burning my nose and eyes from the moment I walk in the room. My roommate smokes, they say, with nicotine-stained fingernails. I used to work newborn nursery, and the number of moms who would swear up and down they'd never touched a drug in their entire life, and then baby tests positive for cocaine or meth or whatever. Also loved in the number of straight-edge virgins with plus urine for pregnancy and drugs. Parents who bring in their kid with seizures and swear the kid has never missed a dose of their medicine and the blood level in the kid is 0. Had a dad get mad the doc was taking photos of his kid's bruises and said, back in my day we would just say, kids play rough, but now everybody thinks you're abusing your child. Doc. He's 3 months old, and the bruise is on his eyelick. ETA. Anti-epileptic medication level in the blood amount. Pediatrician here. Toddlers aren't brilliant liars. About an hour ago. Did you put the bead in your nose? Quote, yo. No. So where is the bead from this bracelet? Quote, yo. I don't know. 2 minutes later. After extracting said bead from said nose. How did this get up there? Quote, yo. Thanks for a bit. Bluey put it there. Repeat ad infinitum. PCP here. I guess you wouldn't be shocked by this. But people compartmentalize substances into arbitrary categories, and I need to list each individual substance. Followed by form. Do you do kava? Kratom? Cannabis? Do you smoke? Chew? Pen? Pouch? Hookah? Hotbox? One of my patients has been taking kratom for years, with no prior documentation and all sorts of unexplained labs. 4 teaspoons 5 times a day. I only had 1 drink. Sir was trying to fight the hospital curtain 10 seconds later. The most obvious lie? Had a patient tell me. In pre-op, before a surgery for which he was supposed to be fasting. I haven't had anything to eat or drink today. His mouth was absolutely rimmed in powdered sugar. There was a donut bag sticking out of his bag. Pretty freaking obvious. Obligatory, not a doctor. Worked in a NICU as a tech a long time ago. Lady insists she rushed in her baby, with obvious congenital issues, to hospital right after her birth. Definitely didn't wait with it. What kind of a mother would wait around while her baby needed urgent medical attention? Baby was at least 1 month old, dressed in a little outfit with a ribbon on her head. Lady had her hair and makeup perfectly done, too. There were no previous medical records on the child. No birth certificate. Nothing. The baby survived, but the social worker said there's not much she could do to intervene with the situation. Not a doctor. I was in pre-op interviewing a patient before his surgery. I asked if he had anything to eat today, and he said, no. When I pointed out that he was covered in food trash and crumbs, rice, etc., he started picking at the food on his chest and eating it. That they take their medication as prescribed consistently and have never missed a dose. Or never missed more than 1 or 2 days. I even ask this question in a way that normalizes missing doses because that's reality. A shocking number just insist they're perfectly compliant. The problem is that I can see when a script was filled. Know the count dispensed both because it's in the record, and because I wrote the RX. And I know how to count. Ultimately, I just started referring to this as patient math, which works differently than regular math. In patient math, a 30-day script confidently claimed to be taken as prescribed perfectly somehow can last well beyond 30 days. Who knew? A guy came into the ER and said he drank a cup of clear liquid under his sink and it was Drano. He said he initially thought it was water. He drank the whole cup, obviously with significant problems throughout his GI tract as a result. His buddy came to the ER a bit later and wanted me to know that the patient was a meth user who had an upcoming drug test and thought that if he drank Drano, it would allow him to test normal. Nurse, not a doctor. I had a patient once tell me he's not diabetic. His fasting sugar was in the 300s and he had 1 leg amputated due to PVD, common diabetes complication. Sure, doc, I floss a few times a week, I say through my bleeding gums. Not a doctor but a dentist I knew said patients would always say, I don't smoke, or, I haven't smoked in years. But teeth tell a different story because smoking stains not only the front but back of your teeth. He always knew if someone was lying by looking at the back of their teeth and seeing the nicotine, marijuana staining. I have no idea why my child's bottom is bruised. I have no idea how my baby got a femur fracture from me putting them to bed. Yeah, okay. At nurse here. Sir, do you use any recreational drugs? Quote, while holding his drug screen results in my hand that shows positive for several. Patient, no. Me, never? You sure? Quote, patient, no, never.